All right, today we're going to move into chapter 4. So chapter 4 is all about fractions, all right? So the first two that we're going to work with are just multiplying with fractions. So the first one is lesson 2. So multiply fractions and whole numbers. So what we're doing with this is they're going to give you 6 times 3/8, okay? And they want you to multiply this out because we have a whole number and we have a fraction. Now, all whole numbers go into a fraction over 1. So you can literally put 6 over 1 times 3 over 8. Okay, and now what you're going to do now is you just literally multiply the tops together, the numerators, so you get 18, and then the denominators by each other, so 1 times 8, so 8. Okay, now you have to simplify this. So we have to simplify before we are finished up. So before we finish, we're going to simplify by 2. So I get 9 over 4. Okay, so this is an improper fraction. You can leave it like this, or I would like you to turn it into a mixed number to get in the habit of that. So to turn this into a mixed number, you see how many times 4 goes into 8, or 9. Well, 4 goes into 9 2 times. Since that was 8, you're taking 1 away from that 9, and that's your new numerator. So that's 1 on top, and you keep the same denominator. So here are your two answers right here. Okay, 9 over 4, or 2 1/4. All right, so that is how you multiply with a whole number and a fraction. All whole numbers go over 1 into a fraction. So you have to turn that into a fraction form before you can actually multiply these out. So let's do another one like this. So 2/3 times 4. Okay. Once again, since this is a whole number, it's got to be turned into a fraction, and all whole numbers just go over 1. All right, so then you just multiply the numerators together, so that would be 8, and then the denominators together, so 3 times 1 would be 3. Now, like I said, this is an improper fraction. We don't have to simplify because it's already simplified all the way out. You can leave it like this, but I'd like you to put both. So you have your improper fraction, now let's put the mixed number. Well, to figure this out, we got to figure out how many times 3 goes into 8. Well, 3 goes into 8 2 times, because that's 6. Now, if I multiplied 2 by 3 to get 6, we got to take that away from 8. Well, if you take 6 away from 8, you get 2 left over, so that's your numerator, and then you just keep the same denominator. So there's your answer. So those are the two answers that I want you to put. All right, you need to put the improper fraction, and then you also need to put a mixed number. Now, the only time you turn it into a mixed number is if this is improper. It's got to have a smaller denominator than the numerator, like 8 over 3 or 9 over 4. The denominator has to be a smaller number than the top. That's what makes it an improper fraction. So do not mess with it if it's just a regular old fraction like 2/3. You can't change that. That's a regular fraction. It's not improper at all. All right, so let's do another one. So 15 times 1/8. Okay, so once again, I gotta change this into a fraction first before I can multiply it out. Now, I can just multiply. So 15 times 1 would be 15. 8 times 1 would just be 8. Okay, we can't simplify that because there's nothing that goes into 15 and 8 together. So that's done. That's our improper fraction. Now, if I was going to turn this into a mixed number, 8 goes into 15 one time. Well, we subtract 15 or 8 from 15, you get 7 left over, so you get 1 7/8. So that's how you multiply with fractions. Very, very simple. Don't overcomplicate this. Just all you're doing is multiplying the top and then multiply the bottoms. That's it. So I want you guys to go to I want you guys to pause the video and work on some problems together. So I'll go ahead and do 1, 2, 5, 7, 10, and 11. Okay, so just work on those. I just want you to work on the circled ones, and then come back and you guys can we're gonna work through them together. So pause the video and then come back. All right, now that you're back, let's go ahead and talk about these. So number 1, we have 5 times 2/3. Well, 5 over 1 times 2 over 3. Okay, so then 5 times 2, 10. 1 times 3, 3. Okay, so that's our improper fraction. If I turn this into a mixed number, 3 goes into 10 3 times, and we have 1 left over 3. So that's how you do those two. Okay, number 2, 10 times 3/5. Well, 10 over 1 times 3 over 5. All right, so 10 times 3, okay, would be 30. 1 times 5 is 5. Okay, so here we need to simplify. So you have to remember that. Okay, so then 30 over 5, we can divide this out actually, because 30 goes into 5, or 5 goes into 30, so you get 6 as your answer. And that's it. It's not a fraction, it's not an improper fraction, you can't turn it into a mixed number, it's just the answer is 6. Now, there is a method of simplifying before you multiply, and I was waiting to show you this until right now. So when you simplify before you multiply, you're literally looking at the ones that are across from each other, so like 1 and 3. Well, there's nothing you can simplify there because they're both prime numbers and they're always simplified out. Now the other one would be 10 and 5. Well, I know that 5 goes into 10, so I can divide a 5 out, so I get 1 down here and 2 up there. So then it's 2 times 3, which is 6, and 1 times 1, so it's just 6 over 1, which is 6. So that is one method you can use. It's not, you don't have to, it's not required. You can simplify at the end. I just like doing it because it saves me that hassle of having to remember to simplify at the end so I don't forget. Because if you forget and you don't simplify, it's going to be wrong. So it has to be in simplest form, and this way kind of ensures that I do it before the end. Okay, so let's do number 5. So 6 times 1/4. Well, 6 over 1 times 1 over 4. Now I'm going to do the simplify before I multiply trick. Well, 1 and 1, that's already simplified all the way out. Well, 6 and 4, I can take a 2 out. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So now I have 3 times 1, which is 3, and 1 times 2. So there's my improper fraction. And if I turn that into a mixed number, it'd be 1 and 1/2. Okay? If you didn't simplify before you multiply, you're still going to get the same answer as long as you simplify at the end. You have to remember that. That's why I just go ahead and do it there. Okay, number 7. 2/3 times 12. Okay, 2/3 times 12. Well, 2 over 3 times 12 over 1. Okay, so 2 and 1 I can't do anything with, but 3 and 12 I can. I can divide a 3 out, so I get 1 and 4. So then I get 2 times 4 is 8, and 1 times 1 is 1. Well, that's just 8. All right. Number 10. 1/6 times 11. Well, that's going to be 1 over 6 times 11 over 1. Okay, 6 and 11 I can't do anything with. There's nothing I can simplify out, and 1 and 1's already simplified all the way down. So I'm just going to go ahead and multiply. 1 times 11 is 11. 6 times 1 is 6. Okay, so you get improper fraction, or you can change it into a mixed number, which would be 1 and 5/6. And the last one, number 11. 2/7 times 5. Okay, so I gotta rewrite it as a fraction, so 5 over 1. Okay, 2 and 1 I can't do anything with, and 5 and 7 I can't do anything with, so I'm just going to multiply this out. So 2 times 5 is 10, 7 times 1 is 7. There's no simplifying, so I'm done. So that's an improper fraction. 10 is bigger than 7. So if I turn this into an improper or a mixed number, I get 1 and 3/7. So that is how you multiply with fractions and whole numbers. So the only time you put a whole number into fractional form is when you're multiplying or dividing. Okay? So that is chapter 4, lesson 2. All right? Now, we are going to go into lesson 3. Lesson 3 is just multiplying two fractions together. So we got rid of the whole numbers, but you might still see a whole number. And now we're going to be multiplying two fractions. So nothing changes. You're still doing the same steps. Okay? So 2/5 times 3/4. 2/5 times 3/4. Okay, you're still following the same rules. Now, I still am going to simplify before I multiply, because that way I don't have to simplify at the end. So I start with 3 and 5. Well, I know that there's nothing I can simplify out of both 3 and 5. So those are done. Can't do anything with that. Now, 2 and 4, I can divide a 2 out. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So now I can multiply this out. So then 1 times 3, 3. 5 times 2, 10. There's nothing to simplify. This is a proper fraction. The 3 is on top and it's smaller than 10, so that's our answer. And you're done. Okay, another example with that would be 2/5 times 3/8. Okay, so 3 and 5 again, can't do nothing with, but 2 and 8, I can divide a 2 out. So I get 2 divided by 2 is 1, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So then 1 times 3 is 3, 5 times 4 is 20. Once again, regular fraction, so that's our answer. And you're done. So let's do a couple more of these. Okay, 1/5 times 4. Okay, so that's a whole number again. This is just like what we just worked on. So 1/5 times 4 over 1. Can't do anything with 4 and 5, can't do anything with 1, so I just multiply it out. So 1 times 4 is 4, 5 times 1 is 5, and you're done. Okay, and let's do one more. Okay, 1/7 times 1/7. Well, I can't do anything with 1 and 7, can't do anything with 1 and 7, so I just multiply it out. 1 times 1 is 1, 7 times 7 is 49, and you're done. Okay, so that's all you're doing with multiplying with fractions. Very, very simple, guys. All you do is multiply the top together, multiply the bottoms together, and then simplify if needed. Okay, so what you guys are going to do on this page, I want you guys to do 1, 2, 5, 6, 9, 10, 13, 14. Okay, you're going to do all 8 of those. So pause the video and then come back, and you guys can we're going to work on these together. So pause the video and work on these by yourselves, and then come back. All right, now that you're back, let's go ahead and go through these. So number 1, we have 1/2 times 5/7. Okay, so 2 and 5 I can't do, 1 and 7 I can't do. So I get 5, because 1 times 5, and 2 times 7 is 14. Okay, so this is a regular fraction, can't simplify, so that's our answer. And number 2, 3/4 times 2/3. Okay, so I'm going to look real quick. 4 and 2 I can, so this is 1. That's 2 because I can divide a 2 out. Or here, 3 and 3, I can divide a 3 out, so that becomes 1, that becomes 1. So now I have 1 times 1 and 2 times 1, which is 1/2. And you're done. Okay, number 5, 1/4 times 5/6. Okay, so 1 and 6, can't do anything. 4 and 5, can't do anything, so I'm just going to multiply it. 1 times 5, 5. 4 times 6, 24. Can't simplify it, we already tried, and it's not improper, it's a proper fraction, so we are done. 5/24. Okay, number 6, 3/7 times 3/4. Okay, so remember, they have to be across from each other diagonally. So 7 and 3, nothing I can do there. 3 and 4, can't do anything there. That's why I kind of like redraw the multiplication symbol, because it reminds me that I have to go diagonally to simplify. Now I just multiply. So 3 times 3 is 9. 7 times 4, 28. And you're done. And guys, you don't have to do it the way I do it. You can simplify at the end if you want to. There's nothing wrong with that. So number 9. 3/5 times 10. Well, that's going to be 3/5 times 10/1. So I'm just going to do this without simplifying it beforehand. So 3 times 10 would be 30. 5 times 1 would be 5. Now 30/5, I know that 30 goes into 5, so I can just divide that out. 6 it is. Okay, number 10. 2/3 times 3/8. Okay, once again, I'm going to do this without simplifying before I multiply. I'm just going to multiply these out. So 2 times 3, 6. 3 times 8, 24. Now, I got to remember to simplify this because I know that 6 goes into 24. So I'm going to divide a 6 out. So you get 1 over 4, 1/4. So that is one option to doing that. All right, so number 13, we have 1/3 times 5/7. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and try to simplify before I multiply. So 3 and 5 can't do anything. 1 and 7 can't do anything, so now just multiply. So 1 times 5, 5. 3 times 7, 21. That's it. You're done. And number 14. Okay, we have 1/8 times 5/9. Okay, so once again, 5 and 8, I can't do anything. There's nothing to simplify out of both of those, and 1 and 9 can't do anything, so I'm just going to multiply. 1 times 5, 5. 8 times 9, 72. Okay, that's a proper fractions, regular, and that's your answer. Okay, so that's how you multiply fractions, guys. You just literally multiply the numerators, then you multiply the denominators and simplify if needed. Okay, so don't overthink this. Don't overdo it. Okay, I would like to see you guys do the other 8 for homework. So 3 through 6, 3, 4, 7, 8, 11, 12, 15, 16, just to get that extra practice in. All right? So this will be what we're doing, and then after Thanksgiving break, we'll come back and we'll start up in chapter 4 again. Okay, we're going to finish up the fractions and then start moving into equations.